On the evening of October 21st, 1978, a 20-year-old pilot was flying alone over the Bass Strait. He radioed air traffic control, asking a simple question. "Is there any aircraft near me?" The answer came back. No. Moments later, he reported something hovering above his plane, something he couldn't identify. And then he said the words that would make this disappearance a mystery remembered for decades. "It's not an aircraft." Minutes later, a strange metallic sound filled the radio. Then silence. The pilot never arrived. The plane was never found. And later in this video, you'll hear that pilot's own voice in the final moments before he vanished. Tonight, we explore the disappearance of Frederick Valentich. Frederick Valentich was a 20-year-old Australian with dreams of becoming a professional pilot. He had logged about 150 flight hours, enough experience to fly solo, though he was still relatively inexperienced. His record wasn't perfect either. He had failed some exams and once entered a restricted airspace by mistake. Still, he was experienced enough for the routine flight he planned that evening. On October 21st, 1978, Frederick filed a flight plan from Maruban Airport to King Island, a 150-mile route expected to take less than an hour. The weather was clear, visibility was good, and conditions were ideal. For Frederick, it should have just been another short flight, but within the hour, it would become one of Australia's most enduring aviation mysteries. Frederick took off at 6:19 p.m., heading west towards King Island. For nearly 40 minutes, the flight was uneventful. Clear skies, calm conditions, everything appeared normal. Then, at 7:06 p.m., he contacted Melbourne Flight Service. By this point, he had just passed Cape Otway, the last point of land before the open waters of the Bass Strait. Before we hear the audio from that night, there is an intriguing twist. The original recording was officially said to have been destroyed, but it wasn't. Dr. Richard Haynes, a former NASA research scientist who specialized in pilot reports on UFOs, gave a private presentation analyzing the Valentich case. Using the original audio, someone recorded that presentation, and it was leaked to the public. What you're about to hear is that recording. Notably, the tower side of the audio was removed for reasons unknown. During the presentation, Dr. Haynes personally read the tower's dialogue, reconstructing it for the audience. But the pilot's voice you'll hear is Frederick's. With that context, here is Fred's final transmission.
Delta Sierra Julia, what type of aircraft is it? That was deleted from the press accounts for some reason. Delta Sierra Juliet, and confirm you cannot identify the aircraft. Delta Sierra Juliet, roger. Stand by. Can you describe the aircraft? Delta Sierra Juliet, roger. How large would the object be? Delta Sierra Juliet, confirm that your aircraft just vanished. Delta Sierra Juliet, is the aircraft still with you? Delta Sierra Juliet, roger. What are your intentions?
My intention to go to King Island, Melbourne, that aircraft is bothering and possibly again. And they're bothering, and it's not an aircraft. Delta Sierra Juliet, Melbourne.
Frederick Valentich never sent a distress signal. He never radioed again. Search and rescue operations began almost immediately. Aircraft and ships scoured the Bass Strait for days, but no wreckage was found. No debris, no oil slick. Fred and his aircraft were officially declared lost at sea. 5 years later, in 1983, a small piece of aircraft debris washed up on Flinders Island. The fragment, reportedly part of a Cessna engine cowl flap, was found more than 186 miles from Fred's last known location. Unfortunately, without a full serial number, it was impossible to link the debris to Frederick's plane. The strange radio transmissions, the puzzling lights, and the weird metallic sounds have had investigators and enthusiasts asking, what happened to Fred? Over the years, several theories have been proposed. Some grounded in aviation, others in speculation, and some in the unexplained. Investigators have suggested that Fred may have become spatially disoriented while flying at night over open water, a well-known and deadly aviation hazard. It was evening, visibility was fading, and over the Bass Strait there were few visual references. Without a clear horizon, pilots can misjudge altitude, bank angle, or orientation, errors that have led to fatal crashes before. Some believe Fred may have mistaken distant lights or reflections for another aircraft. Others suggest he could have briefly flown inverted, misreading his position in the dark. But several details complicate that explanation. Throughout the radio transmissions, Fred remained calm and coherent. He responded clearly to air traffic control, accurately reported his altitude, and gave consistent, specific descriptions of what he was seeing. He didn't appear confused. More importantly, the Cessna 182 cannot sustain inverted flight. It can fly upside down for a few moments, but not several minutes. And, as you heard, Fred continued flying and communicating for several minutes after first reporting the object. Because of this, while spatial disorientation remains a possible factor, many believe it cannot fully explain what happened that night. Some have suggested that Fred may have intentionally crashed his aircraft, and this theory does point to a few unusual details. Fred had told others that he was flying to King Island to pick up friends, yet no friends ever came forward saying that they were waiting for him. And despite flying at night, he never contacted the airport to request runway lighting, which would have made landing at King Island extremely difficult. However, Fred had made no known suicide threats, reportedly had upcoming plans and commitments, and left behind no note or message. During his final radio transmissions, his voice remained calm, methodical, and cooperative, not distressed or suggestive of somebody ready to take their life. A smaller group has suggested that Fred may have staged the encounter to deliberately disappear. This theory proposes that the UFO report could have been a distraction, covering his escape. Supporters point to his strong interest in UFOs and speculate he might have hoped to draw attention to the phenomena, or even gain fame or financial benefit from the story. However, successfully executing such a plan would have required extensive preparation, a secondary landing site, a safe escape route, and likely assistance from others. Yet there's no evidence of any preparation, contacts, or sightings of Fred after that night. No aircraft, wreckage, or confirmed reports of him have ever surfaced. While he was interested in UFOs, there's no proof that he had the means, resources, or clear motive to carry out an intentional disappearance. Without tangible evidence, this theory remains highly unlikely. Finally, some believe that Fred may have actually encountered a UFO that night, and that both he and his plane were taken by it. Ground witnesses reported unusual lights in the sky that evening. Near Apollo Bay, a man identified only by the pseudonym Ken Hansen and his two nieces described seeing a set of lights. One like a small plane, and the other one a larger greenish light directly above it, moving silently across the sky. Their observation lasted around 90 seconds before the lights disappeared behind a hill. This sighting was formally documented in the year 2000 in the Journal of Scientific Exploration. It was based on interviews conducted 2 years earlier in 1998, when researchers spoke with Hansen about what he and his nieces observed that night. Fred's own description does not match any known aircraft, and the audio suggests that he believed something was interacting with him. However, belief alone is not proof. The evidence ends where the recording ends. So, what do you think happened to Frederick Valentich? Let me know in the comments below. If you liked the video and want to see more on mysteries and the strange, like and subscribe por favor. Thank you for watching, and good night.